Have you noticed that you just can't meet in person with your clients or prospective clients like you used to before this whole COVID-19 thing started? Well, that can create some real challenges when you're trying to sell stuff if you don't adapt to the new situation. And just this week, we had a live webinar with Cheri Stringer, who's the owner of TLC Gardens, a landscape design build firm in Boulder, Colorado. And today, I'm going to share some clips from that webinar replay where Cheri is going to share how to use Zoom video conferences to do one-on-one sales presentations virtually with your clients, and the two key videos that I recommended that Cheri add to her sales process before and after that sales meeting. And we're going to share the secret to getting your landscaping employees who are quote unquote not video people or not meant for video to participate in making marketing videos for your firm. And watch or listen to the end to see who won the full day sales coaching raffle with me. It's going to be really fun. My name's Jostes, and welcome to the Landscaper's Guide to Modern Sales and Marketing. This show is all about helping lawn and landscape contractors increase their profits so you can enjoy a better lifestyle. And in this episode, we've got some really current information about what's working now during the whole COVID-19 era. So I hope you enjoy today's episode. Today's episode is going to be some of the highlights from a live webinar we did called What's Working Now. And I plan to do a series of these and interview people. So I invite you to check out the show notes and subscribe. Make sure you get on our email list at ramblinjackson.com/podcast so you get invites to these exclusive live webinars. And without further ado, here are the highlights from the webinar.
We weren't getting the leads that I knew we could. We weren't getting the right leads.
What started happening is that our leads are more qualified.
Our sales have probably gone up by about 10 to 15% a year.
We're going to increase our sales volume by $1 million in a year.
Welcome everyone to What's Working Now, How to Sell Landscaping During COVID-19. And today we have a special guest, Cheri Stringer, who is the owner of TLC Gardens in Boulder, Colorado. And Cheri and I we're both members of the ALCC, the Associated Landscape Contractors of Colorado. You attended one of my webinars in the past, and somehow we started emailing about how to use video in your sales process right now. And I'm really excited to hear what you have to say, because here we are, it's April 14th, and I've kind of lost track of how long we've officially been quarantined, but I know that right now people are actually more interested than ever in landscaping. Believe it or not, I've been checking the Google Analytics lately, or the Google Trends rather, and I've been finding that I'm going to share my screen here so you guys can see this.
Yeah.
Over the last 30 days, like most years, the interest in landscaping has increased. I'm not going to share my screen, but the point is that people
I think
are
it's because
still,
we're indoors.
I think people are, they're stuck inside, and but they're also, maybe, although they're more interested in landscaping, they're a little afraid to invite people into their home to have that design consultation in their yard. We're practicing social distancing. So before we get into selling and stuff, tell us real quick, who are you? What do you do? How did you get into being an owner of a landscape company?
Oh, that's a great question, Doug. I'm so glad you asked. It's kind of an interesting story. Basically, I was a molecular biologist. I had a whole nother life in microbiology. I actually worked for the Seattle Project in Seattle, studying cancer research when they won the Nobel Prize. So I was in a team that was amazing. From there, though, I was working as a hobby on the sideline, creating, greenhouses for people, planting designs within Seattle, doing little setups so people could be outside and really live their best lives. I got the opportunity to be on a landscape advisory task force, which I kind of laugh about now in my community. And that drew me in. I was actually currently getting my master's degree at that time. But when I did this, I realized this is what I want to do. I had a background in it. But yeah. So by the end of this sort of project, I had brought in all these people. I had managed to bring together a whole number of companies to give proposals, followed it through. So by the end, I knew it was what I wanted to do.
Great. And how does that play out now in running a landscape company? How does your background in microbiology impact the work you're doing from, I don't know, design to plant selection? How is that part of what you do now?
It's great. That's a great question. Well, I use a lot of science base in everything I do. So I designed everything and built everything from the beginning. So when I decided I wanted to go into this, every design I did, I built. And then I applied sort of a scientific method to it, right? I journaled it. I kept notes. I took videos. I got in the trenches. But I also did something else sort of science-based. I kept records of all the plant performance material, of all the wood performance and different products, all the stone. So I did that with everything. And after doing it for 15 years, I learned all the construction elements and details and became sort of a go-to expert within the field for that. Then I started my own team, which was another generation of this. And within that, I had to learn leadership and how to lead a team. And I now have a design build team. We currently have 12 employees. We run 3 construction projects, and we run about $2 million a year in revenue.
Wow, great! That's really fantastic. Do you guys do maintenance as well, or
we do not? No, we are very unique in that.
Well, so tell me a little bit. When you were journaling and keeping track of the plant and wood performance, like how long did you collect that information, and how did you get access to it? Would your clients just let you, even though you weren't doing maintenance, would they let you come back?
Yeah, because we would always do a 1-year review. You know, I keep in touch with my clients, and this is even more important now, right? In the current climate we're in, right? It's a connection. If we have a connection, then they're going to want to talk to me. I want to talk to them. Then I understand what's meaningful for them. So I did that from the beginning. And so we'd have a connection. I'd come back after a year and we'd kind of walk through the site and I'd be like, how's this doing? You know, how's this performing? We did this little, steel and wood moon gate. How's the moon gate working for you? You know, and we'd take a look at it and we'd see how it was performing. And then I would write notes down. This is my science side. I would write notes down on, I could have used a different glue, or we could have used a different fastener, or we could have done this a different way at the same time that I'm connecting with the clients, right? So I did that for 15 years. And to answer the second question, which is the plant material.
Right.
I tracked that for 15 years. I tracked the best performers and I put it in my own little database, which I find funny now. There's lots of plant databases, but I still use my database.
Yeah, that's amazing. And prior to starting the webinar, we were looking at one of your designs, and I hadn't seen this tree before. It was a crimson century maple.
Yes.
And was that a landscape in Boulder, and is that a tree that really thrives here?
Yes, it is. So as you know, we're 5,000 feet in the air. So we are now, we're in a high plains desert. And so a lot of people will contact me and they'll say, hey, I want you to do this architectural design, but I really want this lush landscape, right?
Right.
You can't always do that. But here's where the crimson century maple comes in. It's such a wonderful performer. It's a columnar tree with a beautiful purple leaf, as you saw, has a Japanese edge to it. But because I know how well it performs in Colorado, I use it a lot in modern landscapes because I know I can count on it not to get too big for the space.
Yeah, great. Yeah, it was really interesting to see it, and it was growing so straight, and it was so small though, and it had that kind of purplish color of the Japanese maple. Yeah. And I wasn't quite sure because they normally don't grow straight up like that. So cool. Well, check out, and what was your website? It's tlcgardens.com.
Yes, it's tlcgardens.com. You got it.
Great. So if you guys want to see that crimson century maple, check it out there. Really cool landscape. Well, so let's talk about what's changed, recently in the last 30 days, right? We're in the middle of a world health pandemic.
Yep.
And we were emailing because you're still selling. And,
Yes.
a couple weeks ago, I did a webinar about how to use video in the sales process, because what I'm seeing is that we need to, I really feel like in any business that has kind of a consultative or design build element to it, my business, your business, where you may used to meet with people in person, people are going to be resistant to do that. They're going to be reluctant to do that. They still want to buy from you. And I really believe that using video is one of the best ways to position yourself as an expert, engage people. And like we're doing now, using Zoom video conferences is second best to meeting in person. So tell us a little bit about how have you what challenges, I guess, have you faced in the last 30 days? And then how are you adapting your sales process to overcome them?
Okay. Which do you want me to do first?
Well, let's start with the challenges. What were the challenges what's it been like for you running a landscape company during this time?
Yeah. Well, so there's a couple challenges. The three most prominent ones are you got to keep your construction projects going still. Okay. And so even though we're quarantined, we have construction projects where we have our crews split up. Right. And we've got to keep that progress rolling. Most of our clients that we're working with right now, they want to keep going. And keeping that going even at a slower pace, but being aware of the public safety concern and being like, okay, we're outside. We've got to sterilize our equipment. We've got to have social distancing on our crews. So we split up our crews so they're farther apart. We have them on 2 different construction projects. But then we also had the second challenge, which is how do we maintain the connection to our clients, right? I know the most important thing right now is to make sure that my message is exceptionally clear. If I can get my why across very clearly and I can up my game and presentation skills, then I can maintain that connection. But the challenge is, let's get a studio set up. Let's get video set up. Let's set up that right away and get clients familiar with it, right? Because the very first challenge I got hit with was clients not feeling comfortable with video. Right. I could be really prepared, but they're not. Right. So the clients didn't want to meet with you on video. No, they want to meet in person, even though.
I see. So they still want to, right?
They'd be like, can we meet outside, or can we be on the balcony and you be down, on the ground, or, can we stand at the barbecue station and you stand over, under the pergola. All right. So that was the first challenge was, okay, we need to meet on video. This is going to be great. This is going to be fun. You're going to love it. It's TLC Gardens Mobile, right? So there's a whole PR piece to this, which I had to overcome, right? In a very short period of time. So I've been, I transformed, or I guess hit these hurdles really hard the first 2 weeks of the quarantine, right? And so then I had challenge number 3, which is let's get a way for people to pay without exchanging paper, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And this is a big challenge that a lot of people overlook because you got point of sale, which is easy to do. However, there's lots of fees. Okay. And then you've got ACH, which you can set up with your bank. So my challenge was how do I maintain those sales, both in construction and design, right? With a mobile interface, right? And make it easy for my clients. So that was challenge number 3.
Right. And so those are clear challenges of, in keeping construction going. And one thing that I found in the last 10 days that with some of our clients is even when they are working, that the neighbors of the clients are like, hey, what are you doing? Don't you know there's a pandemic?
Right.
And so we last week, we helped create a print letter that you can download and fill out. I don't know if you saw that. For those of you listening.
I did. I loved it, Jack. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Well, so if those of you haven't downloaded it, you can get it at ramblinjackson.com/COVID letter. So even if you are keeping construction going, communicating with the neighbors of your clients normally is not an issue, but now it's like, hey, who are these people?
And you're dead on that. That's exactly what we had to do. We had to create a letter with our logo. So there was PR with the clients. There's PR with my team, right? To make them feel comfortable. Then there's PR with everyone around my clients. And so we had to create a letter that we posted. It's on our trucks. It's to all the neighbors around us. Hey, this is, just informative. So That's fantastic. It's dead on. Yeah.
Well, so thank you. Yeah. I mean, I think, I've been what we've been trying to do is, and why I wanted to have you on the show is to help keep the green industry working safely till it's not that we're ignoring the,
Correct.
safety issues out there. It's more of like helping spread the word, helping people get prepared, helping them communicate. So tell us a little bit. So those are some of the challenges we're all facing. How have you adapted your sales process to overcome them?
I love that. Okay, that's a great question. Oh, I'm so excited about answering that. So within the sales process, what I had to do is pretty much up my game. We've got an opportunity right now, and it's an amazing opportunity to get better at presentation, clearer, right? Because now we're on a video platform, right? So aside from the challenges of setting up a video platform, I've got to deliver. If I can deliver once, clients are on it. They're on board, right? And then I'm just going to build momentum from there. So one of the first things I did was double down and went back to presentation and theater, and how do I project my voice? How do I stand? How do I get my energy across on a video, right? Because it's I can sit like this, which is very common for videos, or I can be really animated, right?
Yes.
And I almost feel like I got to be animated because now I don't have the body language in person, right? So that was the number one thing I did to overcome the hurdle of video. And I knew as soon as I could get to a video with a client and they could experience that, then they were hooked. So I did that right away with my construction team. Then I had to jump on it with design. And this is related to video, and then I'll go to the other challenges. The design video challenge is now I've got to make a sale through video. Okay. Okay, that's a little different, right? I had to adapt my process a little bit there by adding in things that I send before we get on.
Yes.
So they research it, right? They're sort of pre-prepared. Now, normally I would do that in person, right? I'd give them these things and it was woven in. But now I do that in advance. So then when I get on, I just get straight to the point. I'm like, I know, let's spend our time connecting, right? Then I had to have a way to deliver sort of a click opportunity during the video, right?
Yes.
So during the video at the end, it's like, they're like, yeah, how do we move forward? Now, screen share, click to join our team. Okay.
Nice.
So it's like a whole nother challenge to get to where they can just press the button. One of my clients said to me, oh, this is over 15 years, and you hear such great, crazy things from clients, right? I had this client at one point, it was about halfway through my career, and she said, Cheri, you have to make it easy for people to press the button.
Yes. I love it. Yeah. And I
love that.
Right.
It was so good.
Well, and I think that people are going to expect more of this type of buying moving forward. And I think that when we emerge out of this whole quarantine, there's still going to be some lingering after effects of people are going to realize, hey, it's pretty convenient to order my groceries and either pick them up or have them delivered. I don't know why I'd go back in the grocery store.
Right.
When it was so great not going in, right? And we're going to have all of these experiences that have changed the way that we expect to buy from local businesses, or all the restaurants who have quickly adapted to having online ordering and curbside pickup. So I think you're really onto something with the click to pay online. I'm curious, are you using QuickBooks Online or Service Autopilot? Or
we actually have QuickBooks Desktop, but I have experimented with QuickBooks Online, has some other features. So that's, it's the point of sale challenge, right?
Right.
Within video sales. So
tell me, what I'm really excited about is learning more about how are you preparing the client before the meeting? I'd love to know, because I want us all to zoom out and think about our design build process. And we've probably got a phone call. Maybe we're doing some kind of design consultation. Now we're at a meeting where we're going to present something to them, right?
Right.
So what are you sending either before that first meeting or like, how are you helping like kind of warm them up?
Okay, sure. Let me try the screen share.
Great. Yeah. So show us what you're sending.
Let's see if this works. I saved these to my photos.
Okay.
So
go ahead and
work.
click share screen and we'll see.
Yeah. You're going to see a lot of photos. Now I should be able to select the photo, right?
Yeah, I can't see your screen yet.
Okay, hold on. Okay. So, do you see this now?
Yes, I do.
Okay, great. So this is the 4 steps of design. So this is one of the very first things I share because, okay, we're in uncertainty. All of us feel it, right? So the first thing I want to do in sales is prep them so they know exactly what to expect.
Yes. Yes.
Right? So here it is.
Yes,
right?
you've got to teach people how to buy from you, right?
Exactly.
So many people come to me and they say, Jack, I don't get any qualified leads from the internet. And it's like, well, you've got to qualify them by communicating a process. And that's exactly what we're doing here. So I love this. And so you're teaching them, an initial meeting, a design commitment. What is that, right? Nobody's ever thought of this unless they've hired you before. Yeah. So I love it. Okay.
Yep.
So what else?
Let me see if I can share one other one, which is important to the process as well. Okay. Can you see this one?
Yes.
Now it's going to look like Dropbox, and that's
right.
the way it's supposed to be. So I share this with the clients with renderings, and I show them that we have a file structure to share with them digitally.
Love it. And so what program are you using to create these digital renderings?
So these renderings are created in SketchUp. I use Vectorworks Landmark for all of our designs. And create a 3D model walkthrough for the clients, a video. So I'm sending them a video, I'm sending them renderings, but I'm also at the same time communicating our process. This is what you're going to experience with us, design and build, right?
Great.
So that's some of the things that I share with clients beforehand. And I have more, but I don't want to overwhelm you.
One suggestion for you might be to send a video, a screencast video with those things that shows people pretty much what you just did with me. And a tool that you could use is called Soapbox.
Oh, okay.
There's another one. That's what I use. There's also one called Vidyard. And let's say your client is Nancy. The video would be like, hey, Nancy, looking forward to meeting with you on Zoom in a couple of days. Make sure you download Zoom before the meeting. And our meeting's at 2:00. And before that, I sent over this, it looks like a Dropbox folder. And here, let me show you how to click through here. And now she's going to hear you and see you and trust you and feel like you have helped her even that much more before that appointment, right? The other thing that I'm encouraging people to do is if you have time in the process is to send something in the mail. This has been a part of my process for a while. We send a gift. We send a copy of my book. We send beef jerky. I just had a client who's a remodeler. They send coffee because they're out in Washington and they're near Seattle, and that's part of their brand. So I think the more that you can send little videos and helpful PDFs like you have and a gift in the mail, it's going to make them feel like it's going to help make up for that lack of rapport that you can build in person. Right. Because there is, this is second best to meeting in person, but it's the nature of selling right now. And these things, I think, even if you still meet in person, this little prep work for your client is going to make them feel, it's going to help them understand what they're buying. Yes. Yeah. And I find it allows me to focus entirely on connection during the video. Yes. Right. I'm not focused on process there. I'm just connecting. That's the only thing I'm doing. Yeah. And then I let them drive that. They ask the questions. Great. And the more they talk, the more I know about them. Awesome. Okay. So how many people roughly have you gone through this little TLC Gardens mobile experience? We're calling it TLC Mobile. Correct. Okay. TLC Mobile. Okay. And ironically, I've been working on it for 3 years, and I'll answer that question. But I've been working on TLC Mobile for 3 years for a national platform. So we actually released TLC Mobile as a national platform just 2 weeks ago on a 3-year plan, and then decided we're going to bring this to all of our local clients because of what's going on.
right? So
So
TLC Mobile actually became bigger than we thought it was going to be, because of it just made sense. So within that, you were asking me how many. So we have 5 prospective clients right now. We have 3 construction clients right now. So we've got a total of 8 on this video platform.
cool. And
Yeah.
tell us about, have any of them like signed and closed and paid?
Yeah. In fact, we sold a front yard design with a construction project. We were doing the backyard and we were trying to sell the front yard. We sold the front yard design on this mobile platform. And then we sold a new design build client on this mobile platform. So we've had 2 sales within that short period of time. And all the rest of them are moving along in the sales process of what I expect, right? They're asking questions. We're interacting. I'm taking photos of their site, all those things that you do during the process as you get closer to the sale.
They're sending you photos and things?
Yeah.
Great.
Dialogue. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So what are some other wins that you want to share, either closed sales or things that you're like, this is now part of the process because it's really worked? What are some other wins that have come up for you in adapting this process?
Oh, it's just realizing that there's some things we don't need anymore.
Yes.
Our old process was basically, people call in and we phone screen them, and then we send them a bunch of information via email, and then we set up an on-site visit. And the on-site visit, then we'd go through some of these things, and then we'd go back to the office, and then I would do a follow-up call, and we'd make the sale. Okay. For design build, right? And I say design build because, when you're doing design only, it's a little bit different. But now what we realize is we can do it so much faster and better, right? By preparing the information beforehand for the TLC mobile platform, the video, I feel like it's sharper, it's cleaner. I've tried to make it more vivid. And we're actually compressing the sales process, right? In a lot of ways. So now, like what you're talking about, I love your ideas, Jack, about, sending them a pre-video. Hadn't thought about that. But, it means that we're getting on this video and we're closing with fewer meetings, right? So less overhead.
And then also less windshield time, right?
Less windshield time, less drive time.
So if you were able to cut an hour or 2 out of your day from driving, you could probably close another 2 sales during that time, right?
It's true. And I had not only the design, but I had the construction. Our 3 construction projects are spread out. And so if I combine my drive time on a typical day before this, and also the prep time for sending all the stuff, I've got half a day's worth more time to connect with people.
That's so much time.
To write content, to create videos. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities here. And that's when I say to jettison things that aren't working for us, and it's all the drive time and all the overhead that sort of, it becomes like, oh, we got to do it this way. But actually, we don't. It's like you were saying about the grocery store. We don't have to do it this way.
Yeah, and the other thing that I really like about selling over video is that you can meet people. You could probably, let's pretend you're meeting with a professional who's in an office.
Yeah.
They maybe can't go home at noon, but they could maybe meet with you for a 30-minute video call on their lunch break, right? So you know what I mean? Like it makes it easier. So the other thing that I love about video selling is that you can record the meeting. Ideally, you're getting, if you're selling to a homeowner and there's maybe their partners or you've got 2 different decision makers. If you can, ideally you're selling to both of them at the same time, right?
Right.
But if they can't make, or one of them doesn't show up, cool, record the video. And now the video can help sell for you. And so there are two videos I would add to your process. One is a pre-video before this video presentation, and one would be a video after it. I think like a thank you video. That's like, hey, thanks so much. Here's a recap of the plan. And by the way, hey, I removed, we were going to have a fire pit, but when we talked about the budget, that was the item you didn't want. So, hey, I removed that. And now the total is this. And
yeah.
okay, thanks. They're really listening to what I said in that meeting. That feels good, right?
Yeah. No, I like that.
Anything
That's
else
in
on
line with our company values too, Jack. And
what?
that's where I think video is actually this unique opportunity to clarify your voice. It's clarify
Yes.
your message, because I don't know if you and I agree on this. I remember talking about this at ALCC too. And this was just that, people talk about, oh, I've got all these unique things with my company. It's the t-shirts my guys wear, and it's, the process we take them through. But actually, what's unique is you. So the clearer your voice is, the more authentic you are. Now you have this opportunity to do that with video, I think. And it gets away from we're going to do this the way we've always done this. Now we're going to go back to being authentic.
Yeah,
right?
I agree. And I think there's a whole lot of people, maybe you're listening right now and you're like, oh, I'll never do video. Like, you're going to get blown away by people like Cheri.
Yeah.
I have a client, he's listening, his name's Scott. We're actually texting videos to each
Yeah.
other because he does commercial work.
Okay,
and he's
gotcha.
like,
Yeah.
hey, all my property managers won't call me back because they're all millennials or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm a millennial. But hey,
Right.
I'm like, hey, text them a video. And so we started doing this, and he's already getting a response. So again, these are not like professionally shot videos. Yeah, I've got this big fancy mic for the podcast, but I'm talking about like smartphone videos. Use your iPad, use your computer, like just get started.
Yeah. Just do it. Right.
Just do it. And people will be like, hey, that was pretty cool. Thanks. I think I like you better than the other 2 bids I got that didn't make a video.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Like, you know what I mean? What a way to stand out.
Yeah.
So I'd like to open up the panel. Do you have anything else to, well, actually, before we get to that, I did want to talk with you about leadership. Was there anything else before we talk about leadership on the sales process that you wanted to make sure we talked about?
Just the importance of connection, and that we can up that game, right? Everybody can up their game in terms of presentation, but it's just like you said, actions speak louder than words. So if you just do it, that you will get better. It doesn't have to be perfect.
I agree.
From the beginning.
And Robert just chatted a question that's really relevant here, and it's something at Ramblin' Jackson too that I'm working through with getting my team. I'm curious, is anyone else besides you at the company using video, or is it just you?
Actually, my whole team is.
Wow.
We have a whole bunch of videos that are going to hit. They're going to hit social media pretty soon, because we've got GoPros all over the place.
Okay, great. Love it. Okay, so for the landscapers listening who are not good on video, and I'm not good at video, and I don't have a personality for video.
Practice.
How have you coached your non-video video people to become video people?
Oh, I love that question, Ty. I'm so glad you asked that. So I actually brought my son into this. I called my son. He's in theater. He's doing theater production in college. And I said, look, I want to have my team, be able to do these videos and feel comfortable with it. And I said, hey, do you have any good tips or pointers, right? And one of the best pointers he gave me, right, was one, do an outline like you did with me, Jack, where you say, hey, this is the message we want to get across, right? This is the why I want to get to. Live your best life. Okay. As long as you know what the why is, makes it really easy, right? But the biggest tip was, remember to pause. Right? Count 1, 2, 3, 4. Because we all, when we're on video or we're, in a presentation, we kind of talk a little bit faster. And we lose that impact that we can have with our verbal presentation, right? And so when I was coaching my team, I took that from my son. I was like, thank you, that's awesome. That's a great, thing to say. And I would just say, look, here's the why. Right now, what we're trying to achieve is showing people how our team is working safely in this COVID-19 pandemic, right? Mm-hmm. So that's the why. Now shoot some video. And then when you're on video, remember, you're just casually talking with your best friend. So I would talk to them a little bit before, right? And remember to pause.
I love that. And that's Yeah, that's one of the tips here. I'm getting my people
Okay.
to pause. I'm sure that they're laughing listening to this because we work on this all the time.
It's
And it's
so
funny,
hard.
I studied theater. That was
Oh,
a lot of
okay.
my background.
Uh-huh.
Where does your son study theater?
He's at Allegheny College in Pennsylvania. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, great. Yeah, I think, yeah, so pausing and just being yourself. And what I have found in getting my team to do things that they
Okay.
maybe didn't want to do or they didn't realize was important was, again, yeah, explaining that why. And an
Yeah.
example of this that is really relevant to all of our landscapers is you all need to get reviews on Glassdoor.com and Indeed
Yep.
and Google, because if you're trying to hire people,
Yep.
they are going to look at your online reviews and decide if they should we apply for you, or, hey, I've heard of Brightview. I love Brightview. Nothing
Yeah.
wrong there. But
Right.
you know what I mean? It's
Exactly.
like, okay, massive digital presence, or like, company that has negative reviews that the owner hasn't responded to,
Yep.
and nothing on Glassdoor, nothing on Indeed. So that
Right.
was actually where I was. I had a negative review average on Indeed because
Right.
I didn't really think it was a priority. And
Right.
man, was I having a hard time recruiting. And when I
Yeah.
shared to my
Yeah.
team, hey, you're feeling really overwhelmed and it would
Yeah.
really help you if we had a new project manager. Well, guess what? That person's going to look at our Indeed and could you
Yep.
help write reviews? And then we became
Yeah.
a highly rated company. And honestly, the recruiting became way easier. So I
Yeah.
think, communicating the why, and we were talking about Simon Sinek's book, Start
Start
with
with why.
Why, before we started here.
Yeah.
So great. So
I
so
have
yeah,
a tool, Jack, for your team, for your viewers, and that is on Indeed. If you're on the company side, you can create your own company webpage. But what's great about that is we have our own webpage on internet, but within Indeed, I found that I could do 360 reviews with my team. Same thing on Glassdoor, same thing on Google. And when you start doing the internal reviews of people who are actually working there, you can get those reviews out, and those are even more relevant, I think, for our stars. And that really helped us. We had some negative reviews, and then we did internal reviews, and now we have all these 5-star reviews of everybody working with us. And I think it make us a difference,
oh,
to
it
be able to
does.
recruit. It really
Absolutely.
does.
Why would anyone, and I see this, the whole COVID thing changing. I just, there's going to be more
Yeah.
online research before people choose where they're going to work, because maybe they
Yeah.
just got laid off at their other company that they thought
Right.
was secure, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Who's going to be on my property doing landscaping? Are they going to be
Right.
safe? Like, there's going to be
Mhm.
so much more internet research that the online reviews, your website, your branding, your photos, all of that, before
Yeah.
you get to the opportunity to send somebody a video, right? But really, we're focused on selling today. So you've already done a really good job with a lot of those things. Tell us a little bit about, how do you empower your employees to be authentic? You had started talking about this a little bit with the
Yes.
video, but what does that mean?
Yes.
And,
No, that's a great question.
and what does it
It
have to do
really
with
involves,
landscaping? Right.
gosh, and people, I never even thought about how important it was to be a good leader, but you have 2 ways really to influence people. One is to inspire them, right? And the other is most of us as owners, when we start off, we just kind of don't do it intentionally. We try to control, right? I inspire, right? So
Mm-hmm.
to inspire people, you've got to have a really clear voice on your why, but you've got to build a culture of trust. And a culture of trust comes from knowing that you understand their perspective. So I always follow, 7 habits of highly effective people. Understand first and listen, and then be understood, right? So I will get perspectives from every team member. I'll understand, do they have the tools they need to do their job or not? And if they don't, what do they need from their perspective, not mine, right? And then within that, I allow for a structure, but I allow for empowerment, right? For each person within my team to be empowered within their position. So, I outline exactly what I want to see. I'm like, hey, next time it would be great if you did this. This was fabulous because you had this little piece. And then we talk about why. Why would we want to do that? And then I listen, and then I'm able to, I guess, inspire my employees with the overall vision. I'm really a laid back in terms of leader. I like for people to have their own voice. And that's what everybody's saying in these reviews. They're like, this is such a unique place because we can add our piece. We can add our own experience. We can add to the whole vision of live our best lives. I mean, we just went through this on the board this morning, yesterday, and everyone said, I'm so inspired. And I was like, well, I started with why. Live our best lives. That's us living our best lives. Our clients living our best lives. Our vendors living our best lives. Then how do we do it, right? How do we deliver? What is it we deliver? Well, we deliver something that's missing. Maybe that's an outdoor environment. Maybe that's a friendship. Maybe that's professional development. Maybe that's a skill set. Okay. And then the how. Well, we do that with our values. Our values are freedom, courage, integrity. Now, as soon as you line that out and you give people something, a framework, they can bring their authenticity and their individuality to that. So I take that, when they bring that, I encourage it. I'm like, yes, I'm so glad you brought that up. That's amazing. I'm so glad you brought that to this team. I hadn't thought of that. That's really great. And you got to do that consistently. Right. So it's like an environment of no judgment, no criticism, gratitude, appreciation, along with the vision.
I love that. And what employees don't want freedom and individuality, right?
Right.
Who doesn't want that?
And they surprise me all the time. They bring stuff that I didn't think of that, but God, that's great. That fits right into the vision.
Great.
So,
well, yeah. So you've done a lot of the branding and vision and mission and core values, the things that a lot of small business owners, I know that I thought were not important, that were
I did too,
very branding, like, oh, I've got real work to do. But it's actually, I think when you really do that's how you start to really thrive and grow a company where other people are excited to come and do it. So I think you've done a lot of work to get your company to the place where your people would feel comfortable to follow you and do video. So I just wanted to point out that's great. And,
I mean, it is something that I think ties to sales too, Jack, because if your team is happy, right? They're out there and they're happy doing the construction, and you're being safe in this environment, and you're social distancing and you're sterilizing and you're showing your clients that you're doing that. And yet you're still building these amazing environments, right? They see them happy and they want them to do more. They want them to work in their yard, right? But it's also like the whole team, enjoys interacting with clients, and they enjoy bringing their uniqueness to it. That having that framework allows that.
Well, thank you so much for doing this interview. It's been really fun, and I certainly learned a lot. And I'm sure the people listening, if you're listening, take action on one of the things that you heard today. Like, go do it next week, right? Yeah. What would you say, Cheri, would be the number one thing that made the biggest impact for you in your sales that you changed?
Making it easy for people to connect with me through video, because it's the very first thing. It's the first hurdle that people are facing is, I don't want someone to come to my house. So establishing that you have it, I've got it, it's easy for us to meet, give it a name, right? And allow people to connect with it, send them the link. That's the first thing.
Great. I love that.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, everyone. We're going to go ahead and wrap up the webinar. And if you are listening live and you'd like to chat with either me or Robert about your sales, you can schedule with us online at meetjacknow.com. And I wanted to share this. We had a comment from Kathy. Great work. And you really did a great job. And for those of you who want to meet with us, we'd be happy to chat with you about your sales. Go to meetjacknow.com and check out that site anyways, because it shows you can actually pick a time on our calendar instead of like emailing us and then we email you. It's like, hey, book an appointment online at meetjacknow.com. So check that out. And you did great today. So thank you so much. Bye, everyone.
Yeah, thank you. That was fun.
Cheri. Thanks,
Yeah,
Jack.
it was fun. Bye-bye.
Hi.
All right, everyone. Thanks so much for checking out today's episode. Thanks again to Cheri Stringer for being an incredible guest. It was a real pleasure interviewing you, and I look forward to networking with you a bit more after the show. And now I want to announce the winner of the full day sales coaching raffle. Drum roll, please. The winner, and this was a highly randomized scientific method that included flipping a coin, a nickel at the end here, because we had a lot of great people enter. And I'm excited to announce that it's Austin Woodworth. Woohoo! Congratulations, Austin. I can't wait to work with you and your wife, Crystal. Austin is actually a Ramblin' Jackson client who I met. We actually connected on Instagram, and they run modified landscape design down in California. So we're already working on some SEO and website work that's going to generate a bunch of new leads. And now in this workshop, we're going to dive really deep into your sales process. We're going to create a video. And man, you are just going to slay sales because there's going to be all this pent up buyer demand from people who couldn't do landscaping but were stuck at home, and you're going to be ready to sell. So thanks so much. And you know, if I could make a living talking to landscapers about sales and marketing, I'd be a happy man. And you know what? I'm doing that. I'm really, really enjoying this. I feel really blessed that I'm able to work with you guys remotely and to connect over Zoom and do these podcasts and things. So help me spread the word about this show. If you found this helpful, please give me some stars. Give me a rating on either Spotify or Apple Podcasts so that way more people know that this is a good show. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe at ramblinjackson.com/podcast. Look forward to talking with you guys next week, and go make a video. Do it before next week. Send it to me and I'll take a look at it. Seriously, jack@ramblinjackson.com. If you make a video, I want to see it, and I'd love to give you some feedback. So see you guys next week.